My name is Duddy, so builds and stuff, and today I want to talk to you about the brand new Strand aspect on the Hunter, the Whirling Maelstrom. This thing is an absolute monster. It whizzes around, unravels things, it's absolutely awesome. Whirling Maelstrom, destroying a tangle will leave a violent writhing mass of strand fibres. The strand mass seeks out and damages targets, emitting unravelling projects when it defeats them. It's absolutely crazy. And in the video today, in this build, I'm going to show you a way how we can infinitely have this up. We're going to create infinite tangles. So stay tuned, I'm going to break it all down. This thing's an absolute beast. The exotic that works really nice with this one is the Cyrtachnes facade. The Hunter helmet, gain woven mail when you activate your grapple. Woven mail's a 40% damage reduction. Thread of transmutation is a fragment that works perfectly with this one because every time you've got woven mail, weapon and final blows create a tangle. And then if you add things like Quicksilver storm, especially with the catalyst where the grenade launcher part of the catalyst will create tangles as well. This with the Cyrtachnes facade and the thread of transmutation is just an infinite way of creating tangles. And then all we do then with the Whirling Maelstrom is just shoot it or throw it, and you're just going to leave the little strand balls that just travel around and unravel everything, and they do plenty of damage. And then with the Cyrtachnes facade, as long as you keep clicking your grapple, you've got infinite woven mail, infinite tangles, and infinite Whirling Maelstrom. It's a really nice combo, just having that extra 40% damage reduction plus your tier 10 resilience for woven mail. It's absolutely crazy. Now what I want to do is just focus a little bit more on this Whirling Maelstrom and how good it really is and what you can actually do with it. You can actually time it perfectly. You've got a tangle cooldown of about 12 seconds, but you can actually time it perfectly to get a couple of these off at the same time. This is why all this little combination with the helmet, the Quicksilver storm, the thread of transmutation works really nicely together, because you can actually get a couple of tangles on the floor and fire both of them like sort of at the same time and get two going off at the same time. And like I said, it does do plenty of damage, especially if you've got a teammate applying debuffs or tethers, something like that. It does some really nice damage. You'll see in this clip here just absolute loads and loads of different numbers popping up left, right and centre, and the tracking on it is phenomenal. It tracks like crazy. It is such a good aspect on the Hunter. I can see this being used in all different types of activities, raids, lost sectors, day one things, dungeons. I think it's going to be really strong. A bit later on in the video as well, I'm going to show you a way how we can use this in DPS. But once you've got a little bit of practice with a build, maybe an hour or something like that, you'll soon find that there's a really nice little fleur, like a little sort of loop of play that you do. Just get your woven mail and you can just create these tangles for your maelstrom left, right and centre. And the tracking on them is really good. The damage is really good. And again, you can spawn a couple of these at the same time. You'll see what I was doing there, just clicking my grapple. That is another bonus of this build with the exotic helmet as well. Just click your grapple for an instant 40% damage reduction. It's really crazy. You'll see even in lost sectors, master lost sectors, legend lost sectors, it does plenty of damage, even against sort of like tanky yellow bars and stuff like that. It just ticks away. And then obviously then you can switch to a rocket launcher or a machine gun and do extra damage as well. So you've got two sources of damage. But the other thing I just want to talk to you about is another fragment I run on this build is thread of propagation. Powered melee final blows grant your strand weapons unraveling rounds. Now powered melee final blows isn't just from the actual throwing melee itself, the threaded spectre. It is grapple melees as well. So it's really strong, and it's a really good weapons to pair with this. So you've just got infinite unravelling rounds, whether it's from your fragments or from your Whirling Maelstrom. Everything is just getting unravelled, and you're just going to see loads and loads of these green unravelling rounds flying left, right and centre, just like so. Going to see them all flying around, and on top of that you're creating your tangles. It's absolutely crazy. I'm just going to show you a couple of weapons that work really nice with this build. Swords, rocket launchers, machine guns, things like the thin precipice. I did a video on this last season. This one is a really good pairing if you've got one lying about. Unrelenting chain reaction. This also rolls with hatchling. Circular logic machine gun with target lock. Things like the new rocket launcher there as well this season. Navigator. Nox Perennial, the new fusion rifle. I'm not going to go through every single Strand weapon, but there's loads of good pairings that work nice with this. So yeah, just a quick recap before I get into my fragments. Infinite unravelling rounds for everything what you've going on. This is just the rest of my fragments and aspects. Whirling Maelstrom, which we've already touched on. The other aspect is Widow's Silk, so we get the 2 additional grapple melee charges. So we're going to have 2 grapple charges. And then obviously what we need to be running then is the grapple melee. Threaded Spike. I always run a triple jump on all my builds, hunter builds, and then Gambler's Dodge. Every time you dodge, that's going to recharge your melee ability. I always run that one. Thread of Transmutation, which we've touched on. On top of that, we've already touched on the next one, Thread of Propagation. The other 2 that I run just buff the build out a little bit more. Thread of Generation, dealing damage, generates grenade energy. Plenty of grapple, grenade energy for your grapple melees and your woven mail. And then Thread of Continuity, suspend, unravel, and sever effects applied to you have an increased duration. Now we're going to show you how we can use this in a DPS situation. So imagine it's like a raid boss or a dungeon boss or something like that, or even in GMs. You're going to be able to throw your tangle to proc your Whirling Maelstrom, and then you can switch to a rocket launcher machine gun. While that aspect is doing a bit of extra damage for you, you can switch to rocket launchers, things like that. Really, really good. I found this little sort of sequence of things to do. There's loads of different weapons. You don't have to stick to Strand weapons. Maybe things like Galahorn as well could work really nice with this one. You're going to get the Woolpack rounds and the Unraveling rounds going off as well at the same time. So it's really, really good little setup. Ideal for champions as well. So you'll just see here how this sort of works in sort of synergy with my weapons that I'm running. Even like Quicksilver Storm, it's still 2 sources of extra damage. So it's a really nice little combo. A couple of seasonal artifact perks that I'm running with this one is Elemental Fury. While stunned, champions take bonus damage from your abilities and Elemental Orb damage. Then I'm also running Communal Pickups. When an ally destroys or picks up a tangle or Elemental Orb, the tangle cooldown is reduced to 5 seconds and you gain extra damage with your matching subclass weapons. So that's pretty much it. Just looking a bit further on, I actually got these unlocked at the moment, but a couple more that would fit nicely with this one on the seasonal artifact is Monochromatic Maestro, where you deal elemental ability damage, which is going to increase your weapon damage, and vice versa. So for 10% extra damage, and then elemental munitions, combatant final blows with tangles or elemental orbs have a chance to create heavy or special ammo. I got them unlocked, but I'm working on that. I'll probably get them unlocked by the end of the day. But let me know what you think of this video. If I didn't explain it well enough, I'm going to leave the build playing out as a preview, and I'll also leave a dim link in the video description. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.